All right, so my friend Scott messaged me this morning saying, "Hey, the Target on here in town says they have the new figures in." After looking all weekend, I think like maybe I can get them off eBay, and almost paying a ridiculous amount on eBay, I managed to hold myself back. But so my friend Scott on Twitter messaged me and said, "Hey, the local Target says they have these guys in." Pulled his hands up. And he's like, "I'm going to go there as soon as they open to check." And I said, "Okay, let me know. I'm not far up the road. I can be there." So he got there and checked, and they had the case. They pulled it out, and he said they have them. And I said, "I am on my way." And I threw on pants and went, and thank you, Scott. And now I have a set of all of the Wave 1 Power of the Primes Deluxes. I'm going to keep an eye. I really want the Pretender guys now, so we'll see. We'll keep an eye out for those in the leaders. But yeah, we got all of them here. And we're reviewing all of them here today because they're fun. So yeah. But then anyway, just there real quick is Swoop with Slug. And we'll get to Slug in a little bit. We're going to do Swoop first because here he is and he's kind of cool. I do think Swoop is probably the strongest of the wave in terms of overall funness. Although I'm a big fan of Dreadwind. So there's that. But anyway, there's the Dinobots together that are out so far. Here is Swoop. And now he comes with his little bio art card. And they don't have the tech specs on the back this time, but it does tell you precision time strikes alter events and destinies. This is Vector Swoop. This is if you have Swoop powered up with Vector Prime. I don't know if they're specifically paired to things because you can see there's even the little Vector Prime symbol up here. So they all have different ones. Now maybe, there's each Prime gives different powers, but I don't know if certain ones are specifically suited to specific figures or if it's just they kind of randomly picked who are we pairing them up with. But that's what you get on the bio card. He comes with his sword, is the only weapon he comes with, no guns, whereas Slug comes with a gun but no sword. But comes with a sword. It does have a little peg. You can, there's like a little square peg here. There are some places you can get this to peg on. Where was it? I guess maybe under here. You can kind of store it in bird mode. This is a sitting bird mode, which I'm just using to easily have him sit here. You can lift his dino head up and kind of angle his feet back and give him a flying mode. His wings are nicely posable. You got a swivel here and a hinge here. His mouth does open. You have to kind of come at it, but you can open his beak there. And he's pretty fun. Now the Prime armor, I haven't figured out how this attaches here yet specifically. They all should be able to attach their Prime armor. Oh, I bet you, here you go. I see the two tabs. So you pull the peg up and then tab these on here. So he can carry his Prime armor in dinosaur mode. There we go. And they each come with a little filler piece here that can also be kind of used as a small handgun if you really want to. That are intended to fit the Prime Masters, which are basically Titan Masters. You can choose Ultra Magnus since he's a good guy. You can put a current Titan Master in there if you want them to be carrying a head around. But that's essentially how those work. These also form the hands and feet of the various limb modes. I'm going to wait on the Dinobots for limb mode until I at least have Grimlock, if not all 5 of the Dinobots. Although I say that, and I guarantee you, if you follow my Twitter, sometime later this afternoon, you're going to see some limb mode pics of these guys because I'm not going to be able to resist playing with them. But yeah, so there he is in his dinosaur mode. His robot mode, you want to take the feet, straighten them out, flip them up onto the leg here like this. Unpeg the legs, they're pegged in either side here. Flip them down, split them apart, flip the feet down. Come around here to the front, flip out those fists that were not folded up at the beginning of the video. Unpeg the arms and rotate them. Fold the wings down. And then bring his head down. Now this whole assembly, you move his head, but this whole assembly also rotates forward so you can rotate out the peg for limb mode. I think this is probably more for his leg mode than his arm mode, because the arm mode you can easily have the head still up there. But yeah. So that whole cylinder goes down. Then you take this down. Now, he does have a waist swivel, but as soon as you plug his head all the way down, he loses that because the tip of his beak tabs onto the waist part. It would have been nice if it could have tabbed in maybe just above that, but the lower jaw's in the way. So once you tab it together, he loses that waist swivel, although you can just lift it up. You don't have to lift it up much to reactivate it. Like the dinosaur head still fits fairly securely to the chest with that waist swivel activated. Yeah, and then you can hold his sword. I'm not sure if he wears his prime armor like a backpack here in robot mode. Some of them have ways of attaching it to the chest. And I confess, I have not messed with the prime armor that much because it makes them look like they're wearing like little baby Bjorn carriers. I'll show it off on, like, I know Dreadwind and Jazz. I can easily show off how these attach, and Slug. And you can rotate these. These are like essentially the thumbs and toes for the hands. And again, they're very Combiner Wars-esque. Like you got a thumb, you got some flip-out fingers, and then a post to connect it. And there's your hand. So, yeah. Swoop himself has a ball joint, or it seems to be a ball jointed head because it's got a little bit of up and down to it as well as side to side. It may just be like a loosish swivel, but because of all the stuff around it, it really can't look up or down. It mostly just swivels side to side. Ball joints at the shoulders, bicep swivel, hinge elbows, hinge wrists if you ever want to do that. As I mentioned before, the lockable waist swivel. Ball joint at the hip, thigh swivel, pretty decent knees, a little over 90 degrees, and then a tilt on the ankle. And of course, you can rotate the wings. You can position the wings however you want. You can bring them up and out if you want to have them more spread. You can tuck them down. You can even kind of tuck them down and fold them back so they're not quite as obvious from the front. It's entirely up to you how you want to display him. And just real quick, just to give you an idea of the size, they're not significantly smaller than old school Dinobots. There he is with G1 Snarl. But yeah, there he is, Power of the Primes, Deluxe Class Swoop. Thank you again, Scott, for helping me grab these things. I was like, how am I going to get these? Because I really want some of these, and they happen to show up here in town today.